Oh. Hello. G'day, we got somebody else out there. How are we today? 2 people. Yeah. Move this around so the comments stay up. Oop. G'day mate, how are ya? Excuse the drink, it's been a long day and it's 41 degrees out there on a Friday afternoon, so I'm taking some liberties. Hey, g'day Wolfie, how are ya? 4 people out there, how are we all today? Great, it's Friday, I need a beer. I know the feeling. It's Mr. Finch apple cider this afternoon. We've been mustering sheep all day, so got home and the dogs are all watered and yeah, made sure all the animals are all right in this crazy heat. And 10, getting ready for bed. What time's it over there, Laurie? It's only 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon here, but I could go to bed too. Who else is out there? Whoop. 10:30. Where are you based, Laurie? Call him Bob. You haven't seen him yet, Coop. But I'll put Bob on the list. I do have a blue tongue lizard called Bob. Yeah, Heath. My health going. Yeah, no, all right. I'm gonna have a couple of stomach issues, I suppose, probably for the rest of my life, unfortunately. But I'm up and about and I'm healthy and I can't complain. Just gotta manage a few things. California. Just kidding. What is he? Well, I suppose there's a few people here, so I can show you. So I've actually got quite a few reptiles on the way. A local lady who I've been caring for her reptiles for about 12 months now. She's an older lady and she's had a few surgeries. She's unable to basically lift and handle these snakes, and she keeps a few venomous snakes too. And she's just gotten to the age where I can't be driving an hour out to her place every week to feed and clean her animals. So piece by piece, she's donating her collection just because I can't set up 30 or 40 enclosures in the case of a week. So this fella, he's actually been with us for a couple of months now, but I've avoided naming him until I knew that he was good enough for shows. He's done a couple of shows with us. Whoop. So this is the newest member, or newest official member, I suppose. I've always got a few things coming and going, but this guy, like I said, been with us for a couple of months, and he's done a few rookie shows, so he's sort of well and truly going to fit in. Not all of the animals we get given end up being good enough for educational shows, so lemons. So a lot of them end up going on to sort of good pet homes, but this fella here is certainly going to be staying with us. Yeah, so obviously for those of you unaware, this fella here is an albino Darwin carpet python. The only carpet python found in the wild to be albino was the Darwin, and there's plenty of Darwin crossed with everything these days to get that albino gene into other species. So all the albino jags, albino breadlies, albino inland carpet pythons, they're all part Darwin, really. Can I see you a dingo? He's outside and it's 41 degrees at the moment, so I will do a video with him. Have you seen some of the videos that he's in? Oh, I did a video, I say recently, but a little while back now, on how dingoes and hopping mice interact to shape deserts, and he was in that. Yeah. G'day, John, how are you? Yeah, you have seen that, Nicole. Well, yeah, I promise when there's some better weather, I'll spend a day out there. How bloody hot is it? You're telling me. I've been moving sheep all day. We're crutching tomorrow, and I've got a few birthday parties in between. So, Dave, got home and had to water all my dogs because they're tired, I'm tired. Yeah. How are you, Josh? And everybody else watching? 10 people out there. Whoop. Twinkie. All right, I'll add that to the list. Missed hearing my voice. Yeah, I've been I say lazy because I haven't got a video out for a little while, but really I have just been flat chat. This is the same boy that was at the Ballarat show. I thought, he did well there, and he's done a few shows since, so he's well and truly passed all his, I suppose, the bit of a test we put him through with flying colours, so he'll be staying on. 39. How am I? I'm tired, gentlemen. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday night, and we've been working all week. How are you? Good, that's good to hear. That's what we want to know. Everybody should be good out there. What kind of python? This fellow is a Darwin carpet python. Now, obviously in the wild you wouldn't find him this colour. He's albino, so albinism is a recessive trait that normally wouldn't appear in the wild. Now, when it does, those animals would usually get eaten by something. But in captivity we like it, so we've bred albinism in to a lot of carpet pythons. But it was originally found in the albino Darwin carpet. So this fella here, as I was saying a few minutes ago, belongs to an older lady who lives about 45 minutes an hour from me. And for the last 12 months, on any surgeries. Oh, are we back? Can you hear me, guys? It's playing up. I won't keep talking if you can't hear me. Now it's 5 o'clock. It's working. Good to know. Yeah, it's flashing up and making some funny looks at me. So, yeah, we've been going out and looking after this lady's animals, and she's got about 50 or 60 reptiles all up. And unfortunately, she's gotten to the point where she's decided that she just can't handle them. She's not able to take them out of the tanks and enjoy them. And an hour each way. Gotta go, everyone, but hit the like button. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends. Do I live in the Northern Territory? I wish I lived in the Northern Territory. I live in southwest Victoria, in a town called Hamilton. Yeah, about an hour north of Warrnambool, if you know where that is. So in the southern Grampians. It's still flashing up at me saying it's reconnecting, so I hope it's still working for you. I'll just keep waffling on to myself. Where do you live, Nicole? SA. Whereabouts, Adelaide, or I'm not far from the South Australian border. About an hour and 20 from Mount Gambier. Am I ready for the holidays? Yeah, it's holidays is our busy time. We've just finished shearing at work, and with the wildlife we do a lot of Christmas parties. Obviously it's also summer, so all the snake catching and everything ramps up. So yeah, we take Christmas Day off, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, very ready for Christmas Day off. Where's Isabella? She's hanging out with her mum today. They're out and about doing some errands, so they'll be home in a couple of hours. Yeah, keeping her mum busy, I imagine. I was with her all morning because we didn't want to move these sheep too early in the day with it being hot. So yeah, it's mum's turn. This thing still keeps playing up. I hope everybody can hear me and see me and etc. So what's everybody else up to? And while we're chatting away, feel free to keep firing away with names for this beautiful boy. I'm not a rat, buddy. I should rook about my career. Cody Peterson wrote too. Maybe one day, but I'm only 28. My career is just beginning, I think. Outside in the heat. Yeah, it's warm outside. Yeah, so I've got home and raced around all the animals to check that everybody's all good, and all the possums and things get another couple of frozen grapes every couple of hours, eating frozen grapes, put in their enclosures for them. And now I can sit inside nice and cool. Not too cool, because obviously now that I've got a snake out, he likes to be sitting, is sort of 25-ish degrees. And I can't spend a fortune cooling my house down and then heat the reptile tanks. Just finished school for the year. Congratulations. I've brought all the blueies inside for the night to make sure they don't get too hot. I wish I could bring all my animals inside for the night, Josh, but my house isn't big enough. You've seen some of my animals. I would need a lot. So instead, we just keep ourselves very, very busy going through all the enclosures and checking everybody where they are. Yeah. But congratulations on finishing school for the year. You got much planned for the school holidays? And yeah, Jobin, Strangles is a good name. We can put that on the list. What I'm going to do, basically, I think I'll compile a bit of a list that everybody suggests, and I might leave it up to our patrons who, so kindly help our show keep running, to pick sort of maybe out of my 3 or 4 favourite names. Because, we'd like to give our patrons a little bit for everything that they give us as well. But yeah, all your recommendations, let us know. I'll flick back through all the comments at the end of the video and I'll write them down. Have one more week. Quail? Yeah, quail's alright. I've had Sunny and Egg, Blondie, which the first albino Darwin carpet python was called Blondie. By the way, some of the other snakes that are going to be coming from this lady, there's a female that goes with this boy who's about half the size still. So there's going to be 2 albino Darwin carpet pythons, along with some black snakes and a death adder or 2 and a black-headed python, a few things. Leon, slithers. We want to be a little bit more creative than slithers. I've got a lot of snakes. Anything except for Monty, though, is all right. I'm never going to have a python called Monty. I said I'd never have a snake called Jake, but I do. He came with that name. Yeah, doing a couple of trips with some mates from our place out Geelong. I've got a friend in Geelong going to Geelong tonight. Probably going to meet up with Lemons. Lemons is a good one. Car. I do like Car. Meet up with Jake, a few other VHS guys. Yeah, I really wanted to get down to the VHS meeting the other night, and I thought I was going to. I finished work early on and got home and had a bunch of jobs here to do. So we got stuck here. Next year, hopefully, I'll make some more. Am I building enclosures? Yeah, I'm building a few. So part of the arrangement is I've got to take all the enclosures that the snakes are currently in. Just because, this lady, she needs them gone, basically. So their current enclosures are going to be coming here, except the vast majority of them, as well, as much as she's tried caring for them, and she's had me there to help her. I can't call her Choker. I'm trying to convince people he's friendly. I can't say, here, hold this snake called Choker. You're going to be like, oh, don't want to do that. But yeah, so they're going to come with their original enclosures. Unfortunately, the enclosures aren't as good as I'd really like. So they're going to do the trick for a little while until we build enclosures that match in with all our bank. And they're going to be moving into our new shed. So I've actually managed to raise the money to buy the shed. I've just got to scrape up enough money to do the concrete slab at the bottom, and then the shed can go up. And hopefully sometime in the early new year, we'll have our new shed set up where we can do live videos with a prettier background than this. You can see all my beautiful tanks, and we can do live feeding and cleaning and all the what I suppose is boring husbandry stuff, but you guys have been asking to see. So yeah, we'll hopefully have our very own live reptile shed, which will be pretty cool. Sounds good? Yeah, it does. It'll be good fun. The expo has been announced for the first weekend in March. Yeah, I've got that written down. I never ever miss the expo. How many kids do I have? I'm 12, by the way. I've got one, and she turned one about 2 weeks ago. So, only a little tacker. Yeah, I've never missed the Reptile Expo. I haven't missed one since the year it started, actually. But I'm always there for a couple of hours in the morning because it's the same night as our local rodeo, and I've never missed the rodeo either. So I get there before the gates open, race around, and pack up the bags and get to the rodeo. So it's always a big night. March 4th or 5th, I believe it is. Hiss? Yeah, maybe Hiss. Boris? Look forward to seeing the new shed. Yeah, something like that. It should be fun. Yeah, it should be a good expo. Well, they're always good expos. There's always somebody who's got something negative to say, but unless you're willing to jump on the committee and actually make a difference yourself, it's pretty easy to complain about, it should have been bigger, it should have been this, it should have been that. But, the guys put an awful lot of work into the expo every year, and they probably deserve a lot more credit than they actually get sometimes. I have a hard enough time organising everything I do, and it's much smaller. So who else is still out there? We've got what is my dingo's name? My dingo's name is Aztec. Yeah, he's been with me since he was about 6 weeks old, about this big. Today he'd be 7 or 8 years old. Yeah, about 7.5, I suppose. Yeah, just over 7.5, because they're all born in winter. Dingoes, purebred dingoes, born the same time of year. It keeps beeping up at me that it's reconnecting, so I hope everybody can hear me. Did you know long ago snakes had legs? Yeah, responsible for. Oh, hang on. The snake that was one responsible for eating the Adam fruit tricked Adam and Eve because of that God removed its legs. Snakes certainly did have legs. Personally, I don't believe in all that sort of stuff. But we do know from the fossil record snakes had legs. However, fossils also indicate that they didn't just disappear. They got shorter and shorter over, millennia. Originally, snakes looked something like a monitor lizard today. Yeah. They believe they could have evolved from something like the mosasaurs, which are aquatic reptiles. So very interesting stuff. Unfortunately, I was brought up a Christian despite my opinions today. Unfortunately, the whole story about the forbidden fruit and snakes and all this has been used to vilify snakes for thousands and thousands of years. They've been sort of, bye, I gotta go. No worries, Nicole. Thank you for dropping by, and stay safe in the heat. Hopefully it starts cooling down soon. But yeah, unfortunately, this story has been used to vilify snakes for thousands and thousands of years because we just make this assumption that they're companions of the devil. But if you are that way inclined and you are a creationist, you should believe all animals are made by God. So why is one worse than another? But there you go. Yeah, snakes did have legs. This fella here, I'm not sure if you can see. Actually, you can see, I suppose, a vestigial trait, something left over that millions and millions of years ago would have been these legs. So I suppose it's a bit of a clue that they remain. And that is, all the way down here, that little thing there is a toenail, one on each side. On snakes, we call them spurs, but evolutionarily speaking, they're essentially left over from a time when snakes did have legs. So there you go. There is some proof about it. Blondie, I know, but there is a female coming with this fellow. Once I set up some more enclosures. So maybe Blondie I'll save for her, I'm not sure. Sunny. Sunny's a good one. Yeah, I've had Sunny, Cream, a few things. Somebody suggested Share. Steele's Wildlife. I like that name. I'll have to look up your channel, mate. Oh. Your dog is 7. There we go. Just joined. Great vids. What new Python? Oh, sorry, guys. Some of us have probably just hopped on, so you wouldn't have seen him and have just popped him away. Or Snake Cardew. So yeah, for those who haven't seen already, this is the new-ish edition. I say new-ish because he's actually been with us a couple of months. I try not to name, well, anything that comes with a name, I don't change their name. I've got this weird suspicion that it's bad luck to change an animal's name. And if somebody else has put all this time and effort and they've been kind enough to let us take responsibility, covering a shed skins, it's not. Whoop. True, that's a good video, Shannon. I will bring that up one day. Has he bitten me before? No, he's not bitten anybody. And that's what I mean by we've had him for a little while, but the reason I don't name them straight away is not all the snakes that get given to us end up good enough to use in our shows. Quite a few I can get very friendly again, but not friendly enough that if I'm talking to you and somebody else is yanking on the other end, they're going to do all right. So this guy here has done a couple of small shows to begin with. Josh, the lizard man out there, actually helped us at Ballarat show, which was his first sort of big event. He's done 1 or 2 since then, and has definitely sort of proven that he'll be able to, I suppose, fit into our team of demonstration snakes very well. So now that he's going to be staying on permanently, he needs a name. But yeah, there is a girl that's coming with him. Is the male going to be another? So this one is the male. Yeah, there's a female that's also an albino. Not that I have any personal interest in colour morphs or anything. I'm somewhat of a purist, I suppose. But if a pretty snake is enough to make somebody walk over from the other side of an event to come and talk to me, and while we're talking I manage to squeeze a couple of snake facts in there, then so be it. I'm not going to complain. So they're beautiful snakes regardless. Love my pures, yeah. And you know, you can have, well, like this fella here is still a pure Darwin. He's not been crossed with anything. Although a lot of albinos these days have been crossed with all sorts of stuff in an attempt to get albinism into other species or subspecies, however you like. But you know, he's a very pretty boy. We're very lucky to have him. But yeah, Jake, so the other things that are coming with him, there's the female Viper or Vipra. Yeah, I can pop those on the list. There's the female, there's a regular bearded dragon who needs a home, a really big black-headed python who's what they call a bumblebee. Again, I'm not much of a mutation person, so I'm not quite up with what makes it a bumblebee. But she's quite a large snake, a jungle carpet python, a Woma python or two, a really mean olive python who's not going to be suitable for shows, but being a bitey snake, he'll probably stay here. Because it's hard to find really good homes for snakes that aren't friendly. So he'll probably live out his days with us. And there's another death adder coming as well. So yeah, a few things, Jake. Just gotta have time to set up all these enclosures. A few, yeah, Stimson's pythons and all sorts of odds and ends. What locality? We don't know, unfortunately. One was a Mount Isa, and it's already came to live with me. The bumblebees are sick. I'm pretty sure they're just high yellow. Well, there you go. Thank you. I thought somebody out there will know a bit more about it. Yeah, she knows that she bought it as a bumblebee from Roy Pales 10 years ago. But yeah, that's as much as I know. But yeah, the adders and well, unfortunately, this lady, she cares about her animals a lot, but she's not a breeder, so she doesn't have much of an interest in locality specifics and things like that. Name him Harry. Gotta go. Thanks for the stream. No worries. Yeah, sorry I haven't had out some videos in the last 2 weeks, but I am working on it. I have just been swamped. So I've got quite a few videos all written out. I've just got to have time to film them and edit them and put them together. But we're getting there. Who else is still out there? We've had a few people come and go. Also, guys, I've finally pulled my finger out and started working on some t-shirts. I'm not very computer literate, so it's taken me a fair amount of time to find out a computer program I can use to edit these shirts and put them together. We did order a couple from another company, and we didn't like how they turned out, so we're starting all over it. Yeah, that was the adder that was at the show, a northern adder from memory. Yeah, I can't remember the scientific name for the northern, not Antarcticus, it's the other one. But yeah, that northern was one of the ones that came from this lady. So, but yeah, so we're going to be trying again with some Feel the Struggle. I haven't had time lately to make any herping videos. Now that school holidays are on, hopefully can come out. Yeah, that's it, you know, taking videos takes a lot longer than people who don't make videos realise. I know I certainly didn't realise how much time and effort I would be putting into these videos, but that's alright, people seem to like them, so we'll keep bringing them out. The more we can educate, the better. And I live in a fairly small country town, so it means that we can get our conservation message a lot further out than we could otherwise. But yeah, so these shirts we're basically going to get, I'm not sure if you've seen on our Facebook page, our Wicked Wildlife logo, which is essentially the crocodile you see on my wrist. Oh, I don't know how to show it to you. Yeah, so that crocodile there is the Wicked Wildlife logo, yeah, inside the shape of Australia, with our website details on the back of the shirt. So I'm playing around with that, and that will be available to you guys soon. So, you know, you can show everybody that you're a part of the Wicked Wildlife family, I suppose. For those who are interested, we're going to try and find a way, once I figure out how this whole computer thing works, to give a discount to patrons as well. Just because, like I said, we appreciate, you know, every single dollar counts, and $1 a month is $12 a year. That's half an hour that I can dedicate just to putting out shows. So, another one to add to the list. List of what? Sorry, Josh, I've gone on a ramble and... So, well, we've got still 7 people here. Where are we all from? I know Josh, of course. You're about as local as it gets to me. But where's everybody else from? We had somebody from California if they're there before, but somebody from Adelaide is gone. How many species do I think I have? I've stopped counting my animals. And the reason being is if I don't know how many I have, when my other half asks, how many snakes do you have? I can say, I don't know. Another shirt. Yeah. Oh, well, there we go. You've got the nature and KC critters, and I imagine you'd have one from... I should know him. The skink guy over in America. I know him well, and I can't remember. It slipped my mind. Does the blue tongue videos. Little Skinker and all those sorts of things. Skinkaholic and all those. TC Houston. That's the one. He does some really good shirts. I've actually got a couple of them. But yeah, we'll make sure we get you a shirt, Josh. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I don't know how many species I've got. I've got quite a variety. You know, several different carpet python species or subspecies, 4 or 5 different turtles, both crocodiles, the sort of basic-ish lizards, central bearded dragons, ridge-tailed goannas, sand goannas, blotched blue tongues, eastern blue tongues, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Do you keep reptiles yourself? What's the name? Steele's Wildlife? Up in Sydney. Yeah, there'd be some good herping in Sydney. Yeah, TC. Don't have one of his yet, but I'll eventually get one. Yeah, he's got some good shirts. And he sent Isabella a little baby onesie. So, you know, very nice guy. But yeah, there'd be some good herping up that way. Steele's Wildlife. There's not a great deal down my way for a large part of the year. Now that it's warming up, there'll be a few things. And I'm about an hour from Tower Hill, down near Port Fairy, which is fairly famous for unbanded tiger snakes. Nice natural diamonds. I wish I could find diamonds in my backyard. I'm actually hoping to put together a bit of a group of diamonds and keep them outdoors. I think they do well here. And I want to actually do 3 enclosures side by side outside. I'd like to keep my Murray Darlings, who I've already got, my diamonds, who I've got one of, and I'd love a pair of southwestern carpets, like 3 cool climate carpet pythons. I think would all do very, very well here, with some supplementary heating during the winter time. I think that'll look amazing, going outside and seeing 3 groups of carpet pythons all up side by side. It'd be cool. Do you keep reptiles yourself, Steele's Wildlife, or just enjoy the field herping? Field herping is, I wish I had more time for field herping, but I don't get out very much at all. Going on a herp tonight. I need some more southwest carpets in. We do. Getting a diamond python. Diamonds are pretty amazing snakes to start with. I couldn't really fault them. Haven't seen many around. Yeah, I don't know why. I suppose they're not, you know, I don't want to say they're not the prettiest, but they don't have the brightest, most vibrant colours. And a lot of people, you know, that's all they care about. But they're unusual. So I'd love a pair of southwest carpets if I can find them. I'm not a patient man, so I'd rather try and find a pair of adults if I can, so that I can put them outdoors and enjoy them in this big outdoor enclosure. But, you know, if I have to rear up some hatchlings, I'll rear up some hatchlings. Beggars can't be choosers. They aren't a jag, that's the problem. Spot on. Mind you, there's no doubt somebody producing southwest jags that aren't really southwest because they've got a bit of whatever else in them. G'day, Justin. How are you, mate? I think we're starting to get a cool change. The wind's starting to pick up outside there. Still got a few people out there. Whoop. Going on a herp tonight. Rami, where are you based? I wish I could go herping at night time. I used to, when I was living in Townsville, spend a lot of time herping on the roads and things like that. But yeah, there's not much night herping to be done down here. Half the snakes at the auction meeting were jags. I'll pass on that. I wouldn't mind, like, as much as I say I wouldn't mind one, I wouldn't mind if one was donated to me or needed a good home, taking on just to explain, like I'm, as much as I'm not a morph breeder, got nothing wrong with morphs, but I think jags are a perfect example of the way that reptile keeping might risk heading. You know, today with dogs, there's so many, just about every breed of dog is a genetic issue that we've created. And unfortunately, we're probably going to go the same way with snakes. We're breeding issues. G'day, reptiles and more. How are you? You guys are the ones from Port Fairy, aren't you? I've been checking out your channel, waiting for another video. But yeah, so I think jags are a classic example of where we risk heading with reptiles. Mid-North Coast Rabby, yeah, there'd be some nice herping out that way. At the start of November, I got 6 in one night. I'm gonna have to head up that way. We don't even get green tree frogs or anything down here. Might be posting another one very soon. Good to know, I've subscribed, so hopefully it'll pop up on my screen and I'll be able to come and see it for you. I can't poke too much fun about not putting out videos. I haven't done one for something like 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm particularly sorry to my patrons. You guys put in so much fantastic effort to help me keep going. So I thought I'd better do a live and hop on. Arguably, beardies are almost the point with the silkbacks on. Yeah, beardies are, they're kind of like corn snakes in America. You know, as much as we say they're wildlife, they're all pretty much at the point now we have to call them a domestic animal. You know, the silkback bearded dragon is arguably more domesticated than the domestic cat. The cat is still capable of surviving in the wild very, very well. To my knowledge, there's no real evidence to suggest a silkback bearded dragon could. So, yeah, well and truly domesticated. the other issue that I have with all these traits, especially with the bearded dragons, we have started to have more and more and more, you know, polymorphic animals. And there are some amazing polymorphic animals. Joe Ball, you know, produces some amazing animals. But we'll get to the point, a bit like cockatiels, where I bet you were not able to go to the average pet store and buy a wild-looking cockatiel that you know doesn't carry genes for any other color variation. You know, if you get two wild-colored cockatiels from a pet store and you breed them together, the odds are it's going to produce something colorful because there's so many recessive traits out there. And, you know, bearded dragons are at that point now where if you're able to be honest to a buyer and say it's got this, and this, I don't even know what a completely novel... Exactly, you know? You know, and it's going to get the same way where there's so many genes floating around. We don't even know what animals we're selling to people anymore. Not that private animals are ever going to contribute to release programs in the wild, but a lot of reptile keepers like using that as an example of why the hobby is so important. And I certainly think keeping of wildlife is a good thing. But if that's an argument we're going to push, breeding morphs isn't necessarily impossible to make work in with that. But breeding morphs to the point where we don't know what genetics are in an animal. Lots of elapids around, mainly rough-scaled snakes and red bellies. I adore red bellies. Actually, chasing another couple at the moment. But Ruffy, Stevens banded. I've never seen a wild Stevens banded. I've caught a few pale-headed snakes, which are obviously their very close cousin. The Stevens banded, the pale-headed, and the broad-headed, I believe, are in the same family. Hoplocephalus or something like that. Very cool. Basically are boreal elapids. But yeah, I've kept a few. Well, not personally. I've worked with a few that were kept in facilities I worked for. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them. What's my opinion on magicians and their birds? I saw one last night was discussing some of the things he was doing. I don't know. I suppose I'm cautious saying I like them or don't like them because one magician might be a lot better than the other. Personally, my belief is that if we're going to justify using animals for justify taking animals out in the public, there has to be some educational component. For a demonstrator like myself, it's actually a requirement under our license. If we're going to use an animal for a non-educational thing, like a photo shoot with a model or something, we have to get special permission because our permits are to be educators. And I feel the same way with circuses and magicians and things like this. Look, you might be for them or against them. I'm not so far as to say, look, I think they should be banned. But I think if you're going to subject an animal to the public, and as much as our animals love us, it's a big ask for any animal to put up with a public event. There has to be something to justify it. And whether it's some information about that animal or a general conservation message, you know, I think there has to be something along with it. But yeah, I'm sad to hear that, yeah, the one that you saw wasn't very good. I think things like Owen Pellis could work in private care. Rough-scaled pythons are a good example of how privates have been helpful. Well, yeah, rough-scaled pythons are obviously bred very successfully now, but has any captive bred rough-scaled pythons been taken back to the Kimberleys and released? You know, and rough-scales, I suppose, are a fairly niche example because the genetics are all so close anyway. But look at the release of Woma pythons by Arid Recovery into South Australia. They couldn't use captive bred Woma pythons because they needed specifically Strzelecki locality Woma pythons. And so they're really only dealing with members of the public. In America, and I'm assuming other countries like throughout Europe, private people join in these breeding programs, but they're generally, I suppose, overseen by a zoo. So there'd be a zoo somewhere that manages a stud book, and they'll say to the private keepers on their books that you know, this animal should be paired up to this animal. It's the best genetics. But yeah, I do get what you mean. Like they are good for lessening the effects of the illegal wildlife trade, all that sort of thing. I think there's lots of advantages to keeping and breeding native animals as pets. You know, the fact that there's legitimate animals available, all the information that the private people gather that then we used to publish in, you know, herpetofauna magazines and things like this, which still happens a little bit. which then can be used to breed endangered species. Just the natural empathy that people get being exposed to them. There's lots of benefits to keeping native animals as pets. But the story that we've now got a genetic bank in captivity, so it's going to protect them from extinction, is a bit of a myth. The zebrafinch is a classic example, critically endangered in the wild. There's only a couple of thousand zebrafinches in the wild out in Western Australia, and there is millions and millions of them in captivity, but there's 40 different morphs. Do I think that mammals should be kept privately? Absolutely. I obviously, you know that I keep a few mammals. I don't think, what I'm cautious about with all wildlife, not just mammals, but reptiles and birds, is you see these stories saying that people should replace their cats with quolls. I think that's a bad idea. If you want a cat and we convince you to get a quoll, you're going to be disappointed. It's not the same animal. It needs different requirements, and you're probably not going to look after that quoll as much as somebody who said, I want a quoll. You know, like, I think we should be allowed to keep native animals. I think that it has all the same advantages as we said before, you know, providing a legitimate source of animals, all the information we gather, it spreads awareness, all these sorts of things. But I'm very, very cautious of saying that there's alternatives. You know, it's kind of like if you really want to fish and we convince you to get a bird, you know, one shouldn't replace the other. It should be another option for people who are interested. But yeah, I think for somebody who's interested, lots of native mammals make good pets. And even the ones that aren't commonly good pets. If you're capable and willing to and got the experience to keep red kangaroos, why shouldn't you be allowed to keep red kangaroos? Now, I can go on the trading post and pick up camels and donkeys that have been caught out of the bush. So, yeah, I think people should be allowed to keep native mammals. I do think I like the Victorian license system, personally. I think our system works pretty well. It's not bulletproof, but it's a good. Have I caught a mulga in the wild? Only one, yeah, out in central Queensland. Yeah, I haven't got to, where I was used to be living in Townsville, the cane toads have basically eradicated them. There had not been any mulgars found in Townsville up until the other year, for 50 years or something. And same in central Queensland, the cane toads were there, and apparently that hit them pretty hard, but I was lucky enough to catch one in my time out there. So, just the one. I've kept quite a few mulgars. I've got a pair of St. George mulgars myself, and I used to have Kununurra mulgars as well. Who are pretty amazing animals. They get quite big. But yeah, I do like the mulgars. But yeah, Josh, going back to your Owen Pallies, I think they could, you know, they're a perfect example where we could work a really good conservation program with the Owen Pallies, because I suppose we're still at the very beginning of them being in captivity. So as they get released, if we were able to start keeping track of it rather than giving them all out to everybody, and then, you know, going, oh geez, which ones are well bred and which ones are inbred, I suppose. Yeah, if we want to do that, the Owen Pallies are a good example, especially Kununurra blueies. Oh, I love Kununurra blueies. I had a couple at different points in time. I'd love to get a few more. People get bitten by them. Yeah, you know, a lot of people think mulgars are fat and lazy. Personally, you handle any snake much the same, but yeah, I could see why somebody would be lured into that, especially if you're used to handling like eastern brown snakes or something like this. I think death adders are a perfect example. In captivity, the amount of people who get bitten by adders because he sits in the same spot every day for weeks and weeks and weeks, and one day he's just 2 inches close to the water bowl, and you know, because he hasn't moved in weeks, you put your hand in, pull the water bowl out, and he's just that little bit closer today. So I think adders are another good example of sort of people get complacent with. You know, very few people get complacent with like a 2.5 meter angry coastal taipan. There's an awful lot of, you know, instincts in your head to be very, very cautious. It's those snakes that, you know, he's a good boy, this fellow. They're the ones that, yeah, teach people a lesson. But anyway, guys, I've waffled on for a little bit, and I've introduced you to our new snake, and I've got a few name suggestions. So I'm going to leave it at that. I will write down those suggestions. I might put it up as a poll. By the way, speaking of a poll, I've now got the community tab on our channel. So if you look up our channel and you flick across, you can find the community tab where I put up some photos and we'll put up a poll and you can vote for the names you like and these sorts of things. But yeah, so check out that community tab. Remember, tell your friends to like and subscribe and all that, because we're so close to hitting 3,000 subscribers, and if we can hit it by New Year's, I would be ecstatic. More I work with coming to my chest with no effort. Yeah, they can certainly move and climb up. They're far more athletic than people give them credit for. Thanks for the live stream. No worries, guys. Thank you for coming by and watching. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Stay cool in this heat, guys. Have a good one and take care.